There have never been puppies like these before, and the internet can't get enough of them. As an experienced South African veterinary delivered these 2 puppies in 2016, he realised that they had never seen anything like them before. But little did he know just how special the pair of pooches would turn out to be. Indeed, animal lovers from all corners of the internet can't get enough of the little fellas. The story begins in South Africa, where a 4-year-old female Irish wolfhound was once more preparing to give birth. You see, she had previously welcomed a litter of 10 puppies into the world. However, due to complications during that particular labour, vets had to deliver 5 of the babies via a cesarian section. So when the dog was due to deliver another litter, her owners wanted her to get the best care possible. As a result, they took their pregnant animal to renowned canine specialist Dr. Kurt de Kramper's bustling practice at Rant and Dal Animal Hospital in Mogale City. However, it was clear that she was due for another tough labour. By the time the dog got to Dr. de Cramer, in fact, her cervix was open and the fetuses had begun the journey from the uterus to the vagina. Unfortunately, though, she was experiencing a great deal of abdominal straining with no appearance of a puppy. So Dr. de Cramer prepared to conduct another C-section. Luckily for the wolfhound, she was in exceedingly safe hands. After all, de Cramer carries out about 900 cesarians at his practice each year. But although C-sections were a routine procedure for the vet, it soon became clear to him that this delivery was going to be anything but ordinary. Before the operation got underway, for instance, Dr. de Cramer was alarmed to discover a strange bulging alongside the wolfhound's uterus. He believed the lump contained excess fluid, presumably encompassing a fetus, so he got to work removing this puppy from its mother's womb. Dr. de Cramer cut along the uterus bulge to pull out his first fetus. But this was when the veterinarian noticed something very unusual indeed. Where he expected to find 1 fetus, there were 2. It turned out that the Irish wolfhound had been expecting twins among her litter. But the real shock was what kind of twins the brothers were. Both puppies were attached with their individual umbilical cords, and they were linked to the same placenta. This meant that they were monozygotic, or identical twins. Dr. de Cramer just could not believe what he was seeing. When I realised that the puppies were of the same gender and that they had very similar markings, I also immediately suspected that they might be identical twins, having originated from the splitting of an embryo. He told BBC Earth in August 2016, but Dr. de Cramer did not have the luxury of being able to look in wonder at the miraculous twins. No, he had another 5 puppies to deliver. But returning to the rest of the delivery only reminded Dr. de Cramer how unusual the sight he had just uncovered really was. Unlike their brothers then, the rest of the wolfhound babies were each attached to their own placentas. In fact, during his 26-year career as a veterinary professional, Dr. de Cramer had never delivered 2 living puppies that shared a placenta before. So after he had finished the wolfhound deliveries, he conducted some research. And that is when he discovered just how rare the twin brothers truly were. Yes, tests later confirmed that the 2 Irish wolfhound pups were the first ever known case of monozygotic twin dogs. In many species, including dogs, identical twins rarely survive. This is because it is hard for 2 fetuses to derive adequate nutrients from just 1 placenta. And because of small but visible differences in the markings on the puppy's fur, Dr. de Cramer had at first been unsure if the dogs were identical at all. But he learned that just as in humans, animal twins who share the same DNA can still have subtle external differences. So that's how the pups Cullen and Romulus became known as the first identical doggy twins. But while they might have been the first of their canine kind recorded in veterinarian history, it is unlikely that the brothers were actually the first ever. After all, female dogs often deliver several puppies at a time in litters. Usually many of the babies will look physically identical too, and it is not standard practice for vets to perform DNA tests to establish monozygotic twindom. Add this to the fact that the female dog having delivered her brood will often wolf down the placentas. It means that any identical twins born in the past could well have gone unnoticed. And if it hadn't been for the mum's difficult labour, Dr. de Cramer might have missed these special genes too. We are so lucky that this bitch ended up having a C-section. Carolyn June, a reproductive specialist at James Cook University in Australia, told BBC Earth. There would have been 1 less placenta than there were pups, But as the bitch often eats the placentas, the owner probably would have simply shrugged this off. June was one of the specialists who confirmed that Cullen and Romalis were identical twins after Dr. Cramer sent her some of their blood. June maintains that there is no real way of knowing how rare canine twins are. There have been rumours about twins in dogs before, she said. We just happen to be lucky enough to be able to confirm it genetically. But while non-identical multiple births are common in a range of species, identical births are thought to be extremely scarce. Believe it or not, the only common examples of animals that frequently give birth to identical twins are human beings and 9-banded armadillos. So understandably, Cullen and Romalis's birth caused a lot of excitement online. Indeed, thousands of animal lovers have watched the YouTube video documenting the unusual animal's arrival. And the simple fact that the pair are absolutely adorable hasn't harmed the pooches' popularity in the slightest. So while Cullen and Romalis remain the only confirmed case of identical twin dogs on the planet, scientists are hopeful that they will come across more soon. People don't see these things unless they know to look, June said. Perhaps now they will, and more will appear. Please do not forget to share this video with your friends below.